Hi, everybody. It is Monday, August 8th. We got 20 more days of the Lyle tour. And today is finally a day off. I think we just did 7 in a row. And we drove last night, got in about 7 this morning. And I think we're in Connecticut. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm like not knowing what's going on, but it's the old days. We always had a tour book in front of us, a paper book that we could look at, and make notes on and stuff. And in this day and age, everything's online, and I have to pull up the schedule and all that. And I just too lazy to do that. So I'm somewhere, and last night was another kind of hard gig from the standpoint of the heat and humidity. It was outdoors, and it's rough. You up there in those suits under lights, and the sun was still it had just set, so it was still really pretty toasty out, and we're all just kind of going, oh. But once you're playing, you kind of forget about all that. It's just the prep in your mind where you're going, oh man, this is going to be brutal. Tomorrow night, I'm not sure if it's indoors or outdoors, so we'll find out when we get there. I think it's a smaller venue, so we'll see what's happening with that. But we had Emery, our driver's really good, and so it's always an easy drive with him. It's hard, and those guys, the bus drivers, work so hard. These long hauls, and that we had driven all afternoon. From noon till about 4 o'clock to get to the gig, and then we play the gig, and then we're back on the bus doing another 350-mile drive. So I'm glad we have a day off where the drivers can all kind of chill, because Emery's our driver, then the horn section and singers, they're in Buck are in another bus, and then Lyle's in his bus. So it's 3 drivers working their butts off, but they're all really good. And I'm usually awake when we hit like a wee hour of the morning truck stop. So I get out and wander around the truck stops and walk through the shop and stop myself from buying something I absolutely don't need, but I'm just bored out of my mind. So there have been times where I found a great T-shirt once. I might have it at home. If I find it, I will take a picture of it, because it needs to be seen. I'll see if I can find that one. But a lot of them are just these kind of insane shirts. It's all American flags and eagles and AR-15s and stuff on them. I mean, it's like you just go, wow, this is pretty crazy. But it's always fun to look through it all, just like all the mechanical stuff. And so I enjoy that. I enjoy that aspect of touring. I always have. Just a wee hour of the morning wandering, making yourself not buy a bag of Hostess donuts, because you're just sort of bored and there's nothing sweet on the bus, and you're going, no, don't do it. Just step away from the donuts. We are somewhere. I have no idea. I looked out the window, and we don't seem to be near much within eyesight, but I'm going to go out and just wander for a while. If it's not too if it's really hot, I'm just going to come back and watch TV. Heat and I are not friends. It was always great on the road, like with Phil Collins or anybody. We'd be out touring in the dead of winter, and it would be like 42 degrees or something outside, and everybody's got like 2 jackets on and a muffler and caps, and they're all like this, and I'm still in a T-shirt. It's really got to get cold for me to throw a jacket on. I really love cold, but heat is not my friend. That's my metabolism, whatever. So when it gets above 70, I'm not happy. And now we've been dealing in the 90s, and back in LA, it's when this is over, it's horrendously hot. It's been in the 90s up into the hundreds, and really humid, which is really unusual. I mean, in LA, everybody would always go, yeah, but it's dry heat. Got that summer, that desert kind of dry heat. I think those days are over. I think, anybody that doesn't think the climate's been altered in this world is really living in a fool's paradise, because things are definitely not what they once were, and once was not that many years ago. It's been a pretty dramatic shift. And looking at Lake Mead, which is, so much of the water supply for Southern California, and it's drying up, and God knows what's going to happen to Los Angeles and Southern California if that's gone. I mean, because we were a desert in the beginning. It's like looking at Las Vegas. Las Vegas wasn't built on water. I mean, the Colorado and all that, it's great, but it's an anomaly in the middle of a desert. And if your water source is taken away, well, it doesn't look good. So let's just, but I figured today we're not doing a gig, so I can't do a walkthrough of a venue. I'll do that tomorrow. But I thought I'd go back. Everybody seems to be enjoying these comparative tracks of songs that I've played on both versions of. And it's really funny. I mean, this is another one where really it's Russ and I are on this. So, we've got this, we are so connected at the hip over this. I mean, it's been over 52 years that I've looked next to me and seen Russ Kunkel sitting there playing. And I feel so blessed and fortunate to have had him be my partner in crime all these years. But the song is Hey Mister, That's Me Up on the Jukebox. And it was off of James Taylor's 1971 Mudslide Slim and the Blue Horizon album. And it was produced by Peter Asher and engineered by Richard Sanford Orshoff, who produced Jackson's first album in the same studio. I think we did it all at Crystal Recording Studios, which John Fishback was part of, and John is who introduced me to James in the first place when I was in Wolfgang. I mean, again, here we are all like this. On this track, on Hey Mister, it's myself, Russ Kunkel on drums and congas, Carole King on piano, and James on acoustic guitar and vocals. So I will play this, and then I will play you this other version that we did many years later. So here we go. Hey Mister, That's Me Up on the Jukebox. Hold on. Here we are.
Hey mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing this sad song. Well, I'll cry every time that you slip in one more dime, and let the boys sing the sad one more time. Southern California, that's as blue as the boy can be, blue as a deep blue sea. Won't you listen to me now? I need your golden gated cities, like a hole in the head, just like a hole in the head. I'm free. Hey mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing this sad song. Well, I'll cry every time that you slip in one more dime, and let the boys sing the sad one more time. I do believe I'm headed home. Hey mister, can't you see that I'm as dry as a bone? I think I'll spend some time alone. Yes, unless you found a way of squeezing water from a stone. Let the doctor and the lawyer do as much as they can. Let the springtime begin. Let the boy become a man. I done wasted too much time just to sing you this sad song. I done been this lonesome picker a little too long. mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing this sad song. Well, I'll cry every time that you're up and slip in one more dime, and let the boys sing the sad one more time.
Carol. Russell's signature toms.
Well, I've been spreading myself in these days, don't you know?
And on that one, I am using my old Peace Love 62 jazz bass that I carved up. It's the same bass I used. This is pre-Frankenstein. We didn't build Frankenstein until a few years later. So this is the one I used on Doctor My Eyes, on Stratus with Billy Cobham, on the whole Spectrum album, on everything I did up until Frankenstein hit the scene. And I still have this bass sitting at home, and it still sounds great. It's really a wonderful instrument. So that's Hey Mr. Me, that's me up on the jukebox from 1971. Well, when I started working with Judith Owen, we did her album, Ebb and Flow was the first project I did with Judith. And it was kind of her homage to the music of like James Taylor and Carole King in that period of that she grew up listening to and was deeply affected by. And when we were in the studio, she said, I was thinking about maybe doing, one of James's songs. I mean, it was mostly originals on the thing, but she said, I was thinking that. And Russ immediately blurted out, he said, let's do Hey Mister, that's me up on the jukebox. And so she ran home that evening and put together her arrangement of it. And we cut it the next day, probably in like one take. Everything with her was like in one or two takes. It's all very spontaneous. And on this one, it's myself again and Russ Kunkel again, Waddy Wachtel on guitar, Judith on piano and vocals, and the great Jeff Young on B3. Jeff Young has been playing with Jackson for years now. He's a great artist unto himself. And we did this in 2014. So it's quite a time span on this. And in this one, I used my Warwick Star bass on it. So here we go. This is Hey Mister, that's me up on the jukebox with Judith Owen.
Hey mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing this sad song. And I cry every time that you slip in one more time to hear that sad song one more time. Southern California, that's as blue as a girl can be. Blue as the deep blue sea, won't you listen to me now? I need your golden digits, says it's like I need a hole in the head. And just like a hole in the head, I'm free. Hey mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing this sad song. But I cry every time you slip in one more time to hear that sad song one more time. Oh, I do believe I'm headed home. Hey mister, can't you see that I'm as dry as a bone. I think I'll spend some time alone, unless he found a way of squeezing water from a stone. 'Cause I've been this lonesome player a little bit too long. I've been this lonesome player a little bit too long. Hey mister, that's me up on the jukebox. I'm the one that's singing the sad song. Well, I cry every time that you slip in one more dime to hear that sad song one more time. Don't make me listen to it. Don't make me listen to it again. I wanna hear that sad song. Oh no, don't make me listen to it. Oh no.
Judith always does to me, it's just such a wonderful job of taking other people's. So she's a great writer. Her original music to me is so strong. She's such a powerful writer, but she also has this amazing ability to take other people's songs and reinterpret them in a really unique way. On her Rediscovered album, we did things like we did Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun, and we did it like Dave Brubeck in 5/4 and stuff. I mean, really interesting. But so there's another two things where Russ and I are both involved in the original, and then a remake of it, and it's just different flavors, different artists, but great songs are great songs. One of Cooch's songs that's so great is Machine Gun Kelly. And I found a version that Nancy Sinatra did of it. I didn't play on it, so I'm not showing it. Once again, I get people that do write to me and they say, "Oh, could you do like some Rush or something on your thing?" Geddy Lee plays bass in Rush. I didn't play on any Rush records, and everything that I've played, 99.9% of everything I've posted on this channel is things that I've played on, unless I'm paying. Like I paid homage to a couple of different people where I just wanted to kind of turn you on to them. But for the most part, it's all the stuff that I've worked on. Because I have a massive ego and I want you to dig me, okay? So that's that. I'm gonna head out and just go for a walk. Hopefully it's not too hot out, but if it's too hot out, I will be back in this room just watching television. Because I really don't need to go out and just, sweat my butt off just to be sweating my butt off. Not a personal choice. So I will be back tomorrow with a walkthrough of whatever venue we're playing. And I've still got to get together with Russ and do an interview with him about his drum kit. And for all of the drum folks out there that are curious about that. And Lyle still wants to do a little talking about his passion for filming, and we're going to do that. And Yogi, who's been working he's been working at everything. He's taking care of Lyle's guitars, he's taking care of my bass, he's doing everything. He is a force of nature. This is the first time I've worked with Yogi is on this tour, and I think we're going to be friends for many, many years to come. And I'm going to do a little interview with him because he's got a really extensive history with all kinds of different artists that are so diverse. So I think it would be fun to have somebody involved in these videos who's on the other side of things as a crew member. So I'm going to do that too. Lots of stuff coming up. So I'm going to get running right now and wish you all the very best. Have a great day, and I'm out of here. So